So I'll give a brief history of the past decade. So I started it probably, well, I started programming in April of 2003 in my dorm room. The entire company comes from just me wanting to make a website for myself. The other thing that was kind of core to the founding of Squarespace is essentially this understanding that your website is really your identity online, and it's who you are, and it's how people are going to perceive you and see your ideas.
When I got to New York, I wanted to build a social network. Social networks are such a big part of people our age, our lives, but I didn't want to, it's such a crowded space, I didn't want to just make something that someone else had made. So I tried to approach it with like a socially conscious, global-minded perspective. And so what I tried to do was try to build a social network for sharing news. So I wanted to like have this place where people go to know like this is where me and my friends are going to share the interesting things we read, the things that we feel like are pushing our little society forward. Told all my friends about it, try to get everyone to download it. And you know, you build your first app and you put it in the App Store and you think like, oh my God, in a week, I'm gonna have like 10,000 users, then I'm gonna have 1 million users, and then I'm gonna sell it to Google and I'll be the next big thing. But of course, that's not how it works. It's just stayed like this small little app with like maybe like 500 users at most, just my friends and family using it basically. My most active user was my mom by like 70-fold. No one came close to how active she was.
People ask us a lot what makes you different from Seamless or Grubhub, per se. And there are 3 reasons for that. One is account creation is stupidly simple with us. We only ask for your phone number. Okay, you input a credit card by taking a picture of it, like Uber. And for your address, we geolocate you. The second reason that makes us different is ordering. So we only offer large pizza with 5 toppings, the 5 most popular toppings in the country.
I'm hungry.
I'm hungry.
Famished. I am famished.
Order a pizza.
Yeah, order a pizza. I could go for a pizza.
I want pizza, but I don't want to order a pizza.
I wish there was like a button, you know, and all you have to do is push that button and then pizza comes.
Wait, say that again?
Yeah.
I wish I had a button I could push for pizza.
Push for Pizza basically started when our co-founder Will, who's our CTO, came to us and said, I have this really cool idea for a pizza ordering platform. Cyrus and I were really excited about it, and I'd known Will for a long time, just from being a childhood friend of his. And him being at MIT and just being super into computer science, I always was like, when Will comes to me with something, like I would love to work with him on it. So he basically came up with this idea for the pizza ordering platform. We thought of the name, Push for Pizza, and then reached out to Adam Lissagor over at Sandwich Video. He loved the idea, he loved the concept of an easy pizza ordering platform.
And then lastly, we're just fucking awesome. I mean, like, you know, we make rolling papers. Like Grubhub, Seamless, Domino's, they can't do that.
Our app is around the whole model of Q&A, and we've really seen that as a trend on social networks, where, you know, celebrities and very renowned personalities with a lot of presence on social networks hold their own Q&As, and we really want to capitalize on that sort of energy that you see from Q&As, where it's focused. And the goal here is really to have people start meaningful conversations at a larger scale.
I think the big differences between the startup culture in San Francisco and the startup culture in New York has a lot to do with, I want to say, design.
Unlike a lot of other companies, we started with design and focusing on design, you know, 10 years ago, 11 years ago. It was part of the founding of the company. And so as a company that lets people express themselves online with this creative tool, you know, we're very naturally around providing this tool to creatives.
I think it has a lot to do with design. I think it has a lot to do with New York's, how closely tied anyone in New York is to the arts. You can't live in New York and avoid all the galleries on every street corner, the graffiti on every single block. There's just like such a presence of design and art in New York that I think they approach technology more as an art.
Every creative profession is represented in New York, and that very much fit with my DNA and our DNA as a company, and sort of was around what we sort of wanted to build. And so Squarespace is it's very natural for us to be here in New York.
I think the reason is we're still very keen on being in New York. We are
made a New York company, and we're going to stay in New York even after we get our funding and after we operate. Because I think the reason for it is that at the heart of it, we are a media company. We want to disrupt how journalism, how conversations, quality conversations are being done, and that's where New York is a place where we can disrupt it. The reason why that New York is the best place for it is because of diversity.
New York has always been known as a space for innovation, and it has always sort of evolved because of the diversity of the people that are here. And it's the melting pot.
I'll go to a party and there might not be anybody else who works for a tech company in New York. And people are familiar with it and they're interested in it, and they want to hear about what I do on a day-to-day basis, but they work for a museum, or they work for a publishing house, or they work for a television station, or they work for the city or something like that.
Because when you're in Silicon Valley, when you're in San Francisco, you're sitting at a coffee shop and you're talking to someone, you'll be hearing the guy next to you talking with a tech startup. You'll be at a bar and everyone will be talking about their startups or the app they just made.
I just got back from a trip out to the West Coast and sitting having coffee, in the Mission with somebody pitching their startup next to me. I was just like, this is what's really happening. Okay, wow.
It's very monochromatic in Silicon Valley, and what I mean by that, it's all focused on hard technology, that powers things for everybody out there. There's no niche-oriented startup, Facebook is the place where you search for all people, places, and things. That's kind of their tagline. Twitter is what's happening. That's kind of what they go for. It's just something, they're building companies that try to address everybody's needs at a huge scale, whereas companies in New York City, they take an audience that they really care about and who might care about them and kind of build a company around that. They structure their companies around existing problems that exist.
The vibe here at Squarespace especially, and I think in the tech scene in New York, is much more relaxed. I would say the closeness of the city geographically actually makes us a little more bonded as opposed to, the San Francisco kind of startup scene where everybody's a little more spread out.
I feel like just the fact that there's so many different people concentrated in one kind of dense area, and that it is such a pizza hub, the kind of stars align for us, and people are really into the culture and are really into the kind of the aspect of local.
And I think that's what keeps me here in New York, is that everyone is so passionate about doing many things, about how everything is integrated, how entrepreneurship isn't just finding some guy who can build the technology and selling it to investors and taking a cut. It's about creativity.
This neighborhood is what this company is like, and it would be very, very strange for us to pick it up and move it somewhere else. And not just another city. It'd be weird for us to pick it up and move it 40 blocks north.
So right now, actually, we're in the process, Push for Pizza is in the process of taking over New York City for the summer. So anytime anybody thinks of pizza in New York, hopefully they'll think of Push for Pizza, and we're doing a lot of marketing stuff.
We've got this great creative tools company. The website publishing product is one of many things that we're going to be doing over the next couple of years. And it's fantastic. There's hundreds of thousands of people that use that program. We're about to cross 500 employees now, 3 locations worldwide. And we're really just building for the future at this point.
It's about what are you doing to make the not even just the world, but starting smaller than that. What are you doing to to push your small culture forward? What are you doing to put beauty out in the world? And that can be technology, that can be programming can be art. It's just a different type of painting, different brushstrokes. Code as poetry, there you go.